Hey everyone, I am so excited because today we have a top fundraiser here to share a few of his ideas with us. We are going to have an awesome experience. And so I really want to actually share my screen now so that you can see what I get to see. And that is Erik Bayer. He is here on my Skype call. Erik, I finally have you on my screen here now. Thanks so much for spending some time with us today, giving us some ideas about how you are inching your way towards reaching legacy level this year, bringing 200 kids clean water. And I think you have an even higher goal than that. But we're really excited for you, bud. We're excited for what you're doing for clean water. And Erik, you came to Africa with us last year. So I thought that maybe we could start out by maybe hearing a story that we as runners who maybe haven't been to the field, something that we can like hold on to as we are thinking about these kids that we're running for.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
It's super awesome. I mean, that experience was life-changing, and it definitely was an emotional roller coaster for I think everybody that was there. One of the big takeaways, or one of the biggest vision or pictures I have in my head, I should say, I apologize, is seeing the algae pond, and that's where people get their water. As a medical professional, that was probably the hardest thing for me to see.
Yeah.
Because I know there's different things growing in there.
Yeah.
Fungus, bacteria, viruses could be there, protozoans, all those different type of bugs that can make you sick are there. And to hear that, this woman is going there every day to get her water with some of her children, even though the others are at home sick, and not being able to really go get the medical care because even though the medical part is free, the prescriptions are what are expensive, and they just don't have the funds for it. And to know that something as simple as a deep well or a shallow well or a rain catchment or sand filtration, all the different methods, the pipelines could totally solve that in a heartbeat is just, it's heartbreaking. Like, I think I was the most quiet there. And I know Chris, who you had on last time, was there next to me, and I literally was turned around facing everybody away from them, crying my eyes out because I could not bear to see that, and I felt so helpless while there. But knowing that when I'm training, when I'm running, as I'm fundraising, that those 5 faces that I saw are what flashed before me. They're one of several. The other 3 faces that flash before me are the 3 children that we sponsor. Knowing that I'm sponsoring them is getting them either a step closer to clean water or continuing their clean water journey.
That's so awesome. And I think that it's just a really good thing to be able to recognize what we as runners are doing. We're changing that reality for that woman and millions of people like her when we run for clean water. So tell us kind of some of your ideas or what you've been doing to fundraise. You are really good at trying a whole bunch of different things. So we'd love to learn from some of your ideas.
Yeah, so this is technically my 3rd season with you all. And I can say my first season, honestly, I was doing the marathon for myself. I really wasn't fundraising a whole lot. Midway season, I started getting the picture a little bit. And I was like, oh, I should really be fundraising for this. So I wrote a few letters, put it on Facebook a few times. I raised $500, which was great. You know what? I raised $500. That was that many more lives saved. Last year was a little bit different. I was really heavy on Facebook. Sent out letters twice to the same people, once at the beginning, once more midway through, and they realized hey, he's still running on Facebook, and I see your Map My Run Fitness, and I see these things pop up, and oh, look, you're running. And knowing that and seeing that people were able to give and donate. Plus, it was also just asking, going to someone and asking versus just a text message or a phone call or a Facebook status page. You know, this year has been a little bit different. I got to really kind of learn my way through that whole experience last year, and so this year was a little bit different. I am stealing a little bit of ideas from other people across the country with World Vision.
We love that. We totally love that.
So, you know, one of my ideas in February, I was like, you know what, I want to start the year off right. I want to start fundraising now. I don't want to wait until later to start my fundraising. So I actually did, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this very well, but it says Change for Change, Clean Water for Africa. I went to several businesses, and that pretty much, I knew that people pop in, they sometimes have cash, some people don't have cash, I understand that, but the coffee shop, I did it also at a gym that I belonged to at the time, and just asked if I could put it out there. And then I also had a photo of us in Africa from when we were there, and just kind of a blurb of what I'm doing. Here's my link to my fundraising page, and stick a quarter in there. I could care less if it was a penny.
Right.
Stick your change in there. And, you know, it's not huge. It wasn't huge. It was, I'll be honest, it was like $50 that I raised, and that's awesome. I'm so excited. That's one life saved.
Yeah.
You know, to get me to where I want to go, to my ultimate goal, I know I have to start looking outside the box. I did a Facebook auction online. I actually went to several local businesses here in Liberty, Missouri, that were not big box stores or big chains. And I said, you know what, I want to support you. I want to support the city of Liberty, and I want to support the small businesses. Would you be willing? Are you able to do a small donation? And I was really blown away by the response. Of gift cards, of jewelry, of massages, of, you know, t-shirts, and just all sorts of things. Royals tickets, with parking pass, was one of the also ones that did, and it was successful. You know, I personally had this big lofty goal, like it should bring in all of this, and you know, what did it hit in my mind what I wanted to be? No, but it raised quite a bit to push me beyond, to the next level, to hit my next benchmark. And then, honestly, again, I'm still running letters. I still send them out to certain family members, to friends I haven't seen in like 10, 15 years. I'm like, hey, remember me? You know, and we may be friends on Facebook, so we kind of see what each other's lives are doing. And so, but then to get something that tangible in the mail, you know, I used the World Vision letterhead, so it's official. Let them know, like, it's tax deductible, and your business may do a matching, you know, like, who knows?
Right.
There's some other things coming down the pipe that are a little insane, that I can be honest, I'm looking at doing 24 hours on a track to fundraise, and hopefully that will get some response. It's not just myself, but it's also hopefully by 4 other teammates that also have pretty lofty goals, and we're going to do that together over on a weekend, and pretty much end it by going to church the next morning.
Wow.
So we're hoping that will come together. I'm still working out some of those details, but hopefully it'll come together, and it'll either occur this month or next month. There's some other where we're getting people together to watch a movie on, you know, why we're bringing clean water to Africa. Another fundraising idea that I have that is coming down the pipe too is my wife's actually going to read a book that was written by an who was telling a factual story of someone who is from over in Africa that came to the United States, and what it was like growing up in Africa and going for water, and what that looked like, and what that entailed. And so we're going to be reading that book live on Facebook, because a lot of people will watch a live video on Facebook, type of thing. And honestly, one of my donations came when I was getting a donation for an auction item, and the guy's like, hey, World Vision, where are you, what's going on with that? And I said, you know, we are one of the number one clean water suppliers, clean water facilitators in really the world, honestly. And I am actually part of Team World Vision, and this is what we do and what it looks like. Not even before I got in my car and started it, he had already donated to my page, because he asked what the information was. And honestly, the first time I got what I wanted, went back to my car, and I was like, should I do it or should I not? I'm kind of anxious. I'm kind of fearful. What if he says no? What if I was going to make his yes be a no. Mm-hmm. So I wrote down my fundraising page and went back in there. I was like, hey, you know, I know we just kind of talked a little bit. Here's this information. If you want to look at it and see, and if you want to support what I'm doing, that's great. I would appreciate it. And like I said, I turned back around to get into my car. It wasn't even started, and there was a donation that popped up.
Wow.
And at first I was like, oh, that's coincidental. That's somebody else, you know, donated. But actually I opened it up and looked, and it was actually this gentleman.
Wow.
And I was blown away by it.
That's so cool. That's so cool to hear. I think what I hear a lot from you, Erik, is that you're constantly sharing. You're constantly trying to think of creative ways to catch people's eye, whether it's in a personal conversation, whether it's reading this book on Facebook Live and having your fundraising link, you know, right there, or just creating some really fun ways for people to do this silent auction and benefit from their donation as well. And that's just a really cool thing. And I love hearing those ideas. I know that a lot of us watching this video are totally gonna like be so grateful that we've heard these, because we're going to use them. I think that's really awesome. Thanks so much for sharing with us. Erik mentioned Letterhead, and there's info about clean water and how World Vision does water. You can click on your fundraising tools on your Team World Vision profile to get to those resources. And Erik has obviously found them and is using them so well. But yeah, we're just so grateful for you, bud, and we're so grateful for what you're doing for clean water. And everyone watching this video, we're grateful for you and what you're doing for clean water. It's a really big deal, inviting someone along on this journey with you. And you know, it's not asking someone to part with their money. It's an opportunity for them to be part of your journey. And Erik's done a really good job of that with his follow-up, sending letters to the same people, one at the beginning, one in the middle of training, so that this story is being written. And we're really excited about what that means for each of you in your lives. But we're grateful for you in your life too, Erik. So yeah, I'm sure there's like a million things that we could talk about in your fundraising journey and all the things that you've learned, but glad to have some of your ideas today. And yeah, we're grateful for you, Erik. And you can find Erik at the Northland Group Run if you ever head up there. We have all speeds and all shapes and all sizes, so get there. It's super fun. Yeah, we're thankful for you.
Thank you. It was great being here.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. Bye.